This is a lecture from Open Tuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
So it's always easier to understand these rules when you see them in practice. So there are 4 different calculations that we're going to look at here. Speed merchants provide the following employees with company cars. Lewis is provided with a new diesel-powered company car on the 6th of August. Be careful of dates, that's partway through the year. The car has a list price of $3,500 and an official CO2 emissions rate of 122 grams. The car meets the RDE2 standard. Nico, provided with a new petrol car throughout 23-24. The car has a list price of $16,400 and an official rate of CO2 emissions of 162 grams. Jensen, provided with a new hybrid electric powered company car throughout 23-24. The motor car has a list price of $16,000, official CO2 emissions of 38 grams, and an electric range of 110 miles. Check the rates. Sebastian was provided with a new diesel car throughout 23-24. The motor car has a list price of $14,000 and official CO2 emission rates of 103 grams. The car does not meet the RDE2 standards. Okay, let's see how that would look in reality. So we need a nice clean page. So let's do them one at a time. We're going to do Lewis first, because after all, he is the best driver, but I'm biased. Okay, so the CO2 emissions are above 55 grams, okay? So the relevant percentage needs to be calculated. First things first, I said that 122 needs to be rounded down to 120 grams. We then deduct 55 and divide by 5. Now that is 13%. We add in the basic rate, which is 16%, which gives us 29%. That's your calculation. Now, the list price was $13,500. And we multiply that by 29% to find a benefit of $3,915 per annum. 4% doesn't, the diesel 4% doesn't apply because it meets the standards. However, it was only available, so the benefit in kind of 3,915 is only available for 8 months. Oops. Jumped page. 8 months. Therefore, his benefit, taxable benefit, is 2,610. Okay, let's pull that back down. I want to show you that again. Okay. It's important that you can show exactly what you are calculating. Show this. Half a mark. It is the rule. You have reduced that benefit. This will get you another mark. That will get you another half a mark. That will get you 1 mark, and this will get you another mark. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 marks for working out £2,610. Now, if you make an error somewhere along the line, so say, for example, you did that calculation and instead of 13%, you got 12%, you're still going to get this half. You're still going to get that. You're still going to get that. Now, obviously, this you may only get half for because you got that wrong, but you're still going to get 1 for that. So you're going to get 3.5 marks, even though you made a calculation error right at the beginning. So it's so important that you show every calculation along the way. not just the answer, please. Okay, so that's Lewis. Let's have a look at Nico. So again, it's above the limit. Okay, it was 162. So we're going to round it down to 160 minus 55 over 5. Okay, which will give us 21% plus 16 is 37%. Oh, we're getting close to that maximum. Now it said it was available throughout the year, so there's no reduction times the list price of 16,400 is 6,068. That's his benefit in kind. That goes into his income tax computation along with the rest of the money that he earns from the company. Jensen. Okay, so he's got an electric car. Okay, and it's between 70 and 129 mile range. The list price is 16,000. And the percentage from the rates that we have checked is 5%, so his benefit is £800. And finally, Sebastian. Jensen's good. I like Jensen. He was a very good driver too. Again, CO2 emissions are above. 103 is rounded down to 100 minus 55 over 5. So that would give me 9%. I add the 16%, which gives me 25%. Now, it is a diesel car, which does not meet the standards. So 29% is my percentage, multiplied by the list price of 14,000 gives me a benefit in kind of 4060. So let's go back to our notes, because quite often if you get a car, you get the fuel as well. So car benefit also covers the running costs of the car, but doesn't take in count of the fuel for the private use. Now, the base figure is £27,800, and that's multiplied by the percentage that you've calculated for the car benefit. Straightforward enough. Okay, that is in the rates. It changes every year. Do not guess. Always check. Now, if you made an error with the percentage in the car benefit, but you bring that same percentage through for the fuel benefit, you get error carried forward and you won't be penalised for that. Again, as long as you show everything that is going on. There is no reduction if you contribute towards the cost of the fuel. It's all or nothing. You either have private fuel and pay the benefit in kind, or you pay for all your own private fuel. If that's the case, you are going to have to prove to the revenue that you are doing so. Mileage records will need to be kept. We can't have you filling the car up on a Friday night and then filling it up again on a Monday morning while you're at work. Okay, that sort of thing. The revenue are very savvy about, so that wouldn't be allowed to be the case. So let's follow through on example number 4 with example number 5, where we all have, those 4 guys have fuel. Okay, now Lewis paid £600 towards the cost, although the actual cost was £1,000. So he can't have that because he hasn't paid for all of it. So just bear that in mind and check. So I'm going to have a look at the model answer and show you how that works. So here with our model answer we have Lewis. This is the rate at which the benefit in kind is calculated times the percentage that you calculated in example 4 times 8/12. Fuel was not available for the first 4 months and there is no contribution reduction since he did not reimburse. Now that might well be worth writing down because you know that the rule says all or nothing. He didn't contribute all, therefore he can have nothing. So that's his benefit in kind. Nico, again, times the percentage, that's his benefit. Jensen, 5%. Sebastian, 29%. So we have a couple of more benefits that we need to work out. The vans is very easy. The information is given to you in the rates. That's the van charge. That's the fuel charge. Again, all of them time apportioned if it's only available part of the year. And if it's a zero CO2 emissions van, then it's tax-free on the employee, because obviously they're trying to incentivize people to use vans. And a lot of the companies, the delivery companies now have started to change their fleet to electric cars to try and help with the environment. Beneficial loans is the last major one that we're going to look at. So this is where, actually that should say 2.25%. Okay. Again, check the rates. Um, 2.25%. So the benefit is the interest on the loan at the official rates less anything that was actually paid towards it. So what's happened here is you work for an employer and you've borrowed money from them at below, significantly below, or even percentage free. And therefore you need to be taxed on that. Now if it's under 10,000 it's tax free, and there are two methods that you need to use to calculate this. Two methods. If you have to do one of these, will you do both methods please, both the average method and the accurate method? The accurate method is not as applicable these days because the rate doesn't fluctuate quite as much as it used to. However, you must show both and choose which one. Okay, you decide. You decide. So the average method is the figure at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. Now, obviously, if it's you don't have any loan at the beginning of the year, you borrow it in, say, May, pay it back in December. The figure at the beginning is nil. The figure at the end is nil. Revenue is savvy to that. So it's when you had the loan to when you paid it back. And the accurate method is what it says it is, and it does it on a daily basis. So we've got an example here of Jack had a loan for £35,000 from his employer. Interest is payable on the loan at 1%. So he is actually making a contribution. Now, during that tax year to 2024, he paid back some amount. So the 1st of June, he paid back 5,000. 1st of December, he paid back 15,000. The remaining was still outstanding. You are to calculate the benefit in kind under these rules for the average method and the accurate method, assuming the official rate is the correct one of 2.25%. So let's have a look at the model answer, shall we? So we see here, we've highlighted very clearly which method we are using. The figure at the beginning, the figure at the end, divided by 2, multiplied by the rate, is £562. Now this is what is actually paid. So between the 6th of April and the 31st of May, there was £35,000 outstanding on this loan. He paid 1% for 2 months, £58. Then, until he paid off the £5,000, there was £30,000 at 1% for the 6 months, clearly showing the dates so that you can work out these figures, work out the maths. And then the final period from the 1st of December, when he'd paid back another £15,000, to the end of the tax year, there was only £15,000 outstanding at 1% for 4 months. So that is the amount he paid. Therefore, that is the benefit in kind he's going to pay tax on. The accurate method, using those dates, but using the correct rate. Don't deduct 1% from 2.25 and do it that way. I know it's easier and I know it's quicker, but that's not the point. You are to work it out at the correct rate, 2.25%, and then deduct the amount that was actually paid. Okay. And therefore the benefit on that is 323, and he can opt for whichever one he prefers.